forgot that I had a stream running. Um, Hello, magandarang araw, my magandang cannibal mermaid VTuber. Back to I swear to God, my hyperfixations have a purpose. I'm using them to educate and not to distract myself from work by researching old gods. Hi. Last time we talked about the gods of the Tagalog pantheon from the Philippines. Now we're gonna talk about Bicol. We're gonna go a little bit south. And then afterwards, my plan is to either go back up to Ifugao gods or go down to Visayas gods. Anyway, the Bicol people, they're just really good at keeping notes about their pantheons and stuff. But Bicol is, I'm bad at geography. It's right here. It's like the shoulder pad of the Philippines. It's surrounded by a lot of water. It's unlike Luzon earlier with the last set of gods that we talked about. Luzon is mostly land. Tagalogs. The Tagalogs were mostly landlocked. It was this area right here. So they had rivers. They had less. They still had their sea gods, but they were less islandy than Bicol, which is this fragmented shit over here. And then, yep, that's all I have. That's all I have about Bicol. Bicol also has this really popular mountain. I thought this was Mount Mayon for a second. I'm bad. Apparently, this is the top of a mount. Bahay Kubo. But Mount Mayon is like this mountain that's just a perfect fucking triangle. And apparently, is it on fire right now? Is it on fire again? I think it's on fire again. See, look at that. Oh my god, it's on fire again. Wait, let me check YouTube. Is it on fire again? Is Mount Mayon on fire again? Oh, there's my own stream over there. Mount Mayon. Is it on fire again? Hi, Kenny. I think Mount Mayon is on fire as of 4 days ago. Hello. So this is like the popular mountain in the Bicol region, Mount Mayon. It looks like it's perfectly cone shaped. That's why it's popular. Who the fuck is that, Kennykins? That's not the right person. Hold on, let me give you a proper shout. I shouted out the wrong person. This is the right one. There we go. Tall little gamer girl. But yeah, this is Mount Mayon. This is like if the Greeks had Mount Olympus, the high god of Bicol pantheon have this mountain. You guys are seeing my algorithm. It's very triangle. Holy shit. Yeah, just know this mountain appears in folklore, in Bicol folklore a lot. It's just I'm not gonna focus on the mountains right now. I'm gonna focus on the gods, but look at that beautiful. Oh, it looks like a woman. Oh, look at that. That's the face, and then that's the boob, and then that's the stomach, that's her ass, that's her hair flying up. Oh. Mount Mayon is located 300. We don't care about Manila. Says person living in Manila. We don't care that much. Part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. Has erupted over 50 times in the past 500 years. We're gonna talk about Mount Mayon eruptions later. Yeah, that's... Yay, thank you. I'm gonna, last time, I'm gonna introduce the gods and then we're gonna go stories about those gods. So, speaking of supreme gods, our first god is Gugurang. Yesterday, I had someone talk to me while I was making my slides. They were like, Maggie, that sounds like the insult for old men, gurang. And yeah, it's possible that the word gurang for old man came from Gugurang, because we also will have another god later called Kagurangan, who's older than Gugurang. Gugurang is the god, the good god, the supreme god, the god who protects the righteous and punishes the evildoers. He lives in Mount Mayon, and he will smite the evildoers with fire from Mount Mayon. He keeps things in order, he keeps things safe. He has assistants named Linti, or lightning, and Dalugdog, or thunder. Those are just the Bicol words for lightning and thunder. A lot of the things about gods is they're just named after what they protect. So like, the god of the sun named sun, and the god of darkness named darkness. That's gonna happen a lot. Last time we talked about Bathala in the Tagalog pantheon, and in the Tagalog pantheon, Bathala is the supreme god. It's like, he's the protector, he's the creator. In the Bicol pantheon, we went from this region where Bathala is like fully worshipped down here, and by the time we go here, Bathala's not the supreme god anymore. Yeah, no, it doesn't lead to any confusion about the name. So we're gonna talk about Bulan super soon. Bulan gave the internet an aneurysm in like around 2018. So, right? So Bathala came here. The worship of Bathala, the supreme god, came from this region. We go down here, Bathala is no longer a supreme god. He is now an assistant to Gugurang. And like Gugurang would be like, Bathala, I like this village. Protect this village. And then whatever village Bathala protects, they live in peace, they live in prosperity, they win all the wars. And that's Bathala in the Bicol pantheon, as opposed to being the supreme gods of the Tagalog series. He's just the assistant, okay? Just the assistant. Now this low-key looking motherfucker who's holding a coconut is Aswang. Not to be confused, or maybe partially related to the word for the monster Aswang, which means man-eater, or like a type of man-eater. Let me sip on my coffee real quick. So Aswang is the god of evil. There's probably a reason why this artist made him look like Loki. And that's because Aswang is the younger brother to Gugurang. And like Loki is to Thor, at least in the MCU, is like, I'm so jealous you get to have all of the cool shit. I want cool shit too. So like, Gugurang lives in Mount Mayon, and Mount Mayon, perfect spherical mountain. Conical mountain. Aswang lives in Mount Malina, which is, a really pretty mountain, but it's not Mayon. It's not a perfect cone. It's not, amazing. It's not a marvel of geometry and geography. So the most popular folktale about Aswang is he's kind of like our Prometheus if Prometheus was a dickhead. You know how in Greek myth, Prometheus saw Zeus and like, Zeus, you gotta be more nicer to the humans. You gotta give them fire. They're kind of frozen down there. And then Prometheus stills fire and then gives them to the humans, and then the humans are happy. But Zeus punishes Prometheus forever for doing that. Here in the Bicol myth, which we'll read later, Aswang he's just petty, like, brother, why do you get to punish humans with fire? Oh, is the link expired? Okay, hold on, let me give the new link. Been a while. Does he have a coconut in his hand? I actually have no idea why he has a coconut on his hand in this particular photo. I guess it's to steal the fire, right? Because no, it's fine. Coconut's highly flammable. You can keep fire in it for a while. So I think that's why he's holding a coconut. I think. I'm not an artist. I've never talked to him, but that might be why. So like, popular myth about Aswang is he steals the fire that Gugurang uses to punish people from Mount Mayon. He also wants to punish people. Aswang's just like, listen, he's just a little shit. He just wants to tempt people into sin, into doing crimes, into being evil. So he steals fire, and then he runs off with the fire, and the fire starts dropping onto the earth, and then humans go like, oh my god, what is this unga? Unga gabunga, I see fire. Oh, what this I touch? And then humans end up having custody of fire, but like, it was completely accidental. He did not do it out of the goodness of his own heart. His power is he can, aside from being really fucking tempting, he can also turn invisible. Again, he's Loki from Marvel Rivals. And he has two hot daughters that we will talk about later. Next set of gods, we have Langiton, god of the sky. The word langit is just sky. We have Tubigan. The word tubig is just water. God of water and all of the swimming beasts. We have Dagat, which just means the sea. She's the goddess of the sea. We have Paros. Okay, this might be a Bicol word because I have no idea what this is the first time I've encountered it. I don't understand Bicol despite having a name that comes from that area. He's the god of the wind and husband to Dagat. And you know how like Aswang and Gugurang, they have this rivalry going on? Dagat and Paros will end up with 4 kids, and those 4 kids will rebel against their grandfather, Langiton. These are the 4 kids. We have Daga, Adlaw, or sun. It just means the sun. Bulan, or moon, which just means the moon. And back in 2018, the internet went wild over some theories, which may or may not be true. And then we have Bituon, which just means star. So these are the 4 kids of wind and sea. So we have Daga. He has the body of a rock. After Paros died, he took control of like the wind, the realm of like, I control the winds in the sky and whatever. But when their mother died, something in him cracked. And he decided, hey, Grandpa's getting real old. I want to be the supreme god. I mean, I want to be god of the sky now. I already have the wind. And so, Langiton, their grandfather, got pissed at his grandkids and started killing them. Daga, when he died, his body fell into the ground and he became the earth. And then we have the second son, Adlaw. He has a body made of gold. He joined his brother in that rebellion against Langiton. And when he died, his body got turned into the sun. The third son is Bulan, which means moon. He has a body made of copper. So when he died, he became the moon. Now, addressing the controversy about Bulan, back in 2018, there were like some popular fan art on Twitter about someone who was like, guys. In Visayas, there's this god named Sidapa. He's the god of war. And he's married to this person named Bulan. And Bulan, in the Bicol pantheon, is a man. So they're like, holy shit, the gods are gay. And you know what? That's fine because like last time, right, when we studied the Tagalog pantheon, we talked about Lakambini, who may or may not be trans. And we're like, you know what? That's fine. But like, some people got really pissy about it. Like, guys, Bulan from the Bicol pantheon and Bulan from the Visayas pantheon are not the same person. Because in the Visayas pantheon, there's also a goddess named Bulan who's married to Sidapa. And she was clearly written as a woman. So like, there were some people who's like, guys, I think you're mixing it up. I think you're mixing up Bulan from the Bicol pantheon and Bulan from the Visayas pantheon. And then there were fights on the internet because that's just what the internet does. They were like, no, you're just homophobic. You don't like it because they're gay. And the other ones are like, yeah, why do you have to shove your gay agenda everywhere? Blah, 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 blah. So anyway, Bulan, I don't care what you believe, okay? It's just know that this controversy exists on the internet. So you may or may not find like art of Bulan from the Bicol pantheon with Sidapa from the Visayas pantheon and their lovers. And you know what? If you believe that, that's fine. That's just like that internet fight was like I get the point of like they're different people and there's just the word bulan or buwan. It just means moon. And in almost every region of the Philippines, we will have that one god whose name is just moon. So, you know, if you believe them to be the same person, that's fine. If you believe them to be the different people, that's fine. If you want them to be gay, that's fine. If you want them to be straight, that's also fine. It's just know that this exists, and when you start researching Bulan, you will probably have to go through all of that on the internet. If you go to the books, Bulan is just like, oh, a footnote, he's the moon. And then the fourth kid of Paros and Dagat, of the wind and the sea, is Bitwon, or between, or Tala, the stars. Her body is made of silver. And Bitwon's story is a little more tragic. She was just looking after her brother. She was very, very worried that they were getting into a fight with their grandfather. Unfortunately, I think she was hiding. She was trying to like warn their brother, say, Grandpa's really, really mad. Maybe you should stop doing this. And Grandpa was hella mad. He wasn't looking at where he was aiming. He accidentally kills her. And Langiton, he was like so sad. Like, oh shit, I accidentally killed my beautiful granddaughter. So like he took her shattered body and turned her into the stars. Also, interestingly enough, Langiton uses lightning, so he's kind of like Zeus in a way, kind of like. He actually like found this while researching. We found this funny. There's this one funny recurring PowerPoint presentation that you will find while researching, and oh, someone singing on my bad. I was listening to the Hades theme song in the background. Um, so like what I'm doing right now, right, is I'm using art from different people. They're this depiction of the gods and whatnot. The person on this who made this PowerPoint presentation that I saw while researching, they just threw a bunch of pop culture references out there. So I was looking for like photos of the god, and instead of an artist's depiction of the god, I found the Thing from Marvel, from the Fantastic Four, as his photo. Instead of an old man depicting Langiton, I just saw someone using a video game rendition of Zeus, and you know what? That's fine. It was just really funny that I kept coming across it. There's not a lot of gods, by the way, in this pantheon compared to like the Tagalog. So we only have 2 more slides left. We have Kagurangan. If you thought that rebellion was only for the kids of Paros and Dagat, Gugurang and Gugurang and Aswang actually, before they became the supreme gods of good and evil, they went against Kagurangan. Kagurangan was the former supreme god, and he rules over the wind and all of the flying creatures. He might have kept that after Gugurang took hold, who knows. Then we have Magindang or Magindangan. He's the god of fishermen and fishing, and one of the key things about him is there's a ritual to get him to help you fish, to get him to help you have more, harvest. Do you call it harvest? Yield. You get more yield of after fishing. But one of the rules of that ritual is you must never overdo it. You must never repeat it multiple times, or else he will punish you. He doesn't like it when you overfish. On a similar vein, we have Pokot. The art that I have here is a artist depiction of Pokot. Pokot is the god of forest and hunting, and he also protects nature. So like Pokot and Magindang, they're both like, hey guys, I control this region, and humans, you're pretty chill, but don't overdo it, okay? Don't overfish, don't overhunt. The gods will hate you. Don't do it. Everything in moderation. Just take what you need. Do not take more. Finally, we have Onos, and very, very similar to the word for natural disaster, which is Unos. actually might be the same word. He is the volatile god of storms and floods. Yeah, yep, they're very, take what you need. Do not take more. Okay? Nature is fragile. One of the things that I like about like researching old gods, they're very, you can only take up to here, okay? Up to here. Take more and I will give you the worst curses imaginable. Finally, shit. Listen, I'm just biased. I just want to talk about my girls, okay? So Aswang, as we talked about earlier, this guy, this Loki looking motherfucker over here, he ended up having two daughters. And those two daughters have the upper body of a woman and the lower body of a snake. His more popular daughter is Oriol. Oriol he was popularized in an epic called Ibalon, in which one of the heroes in that epic, Handyong, ends up fighting her, and they end up having this enemies to lovers kind of thing, in which he starts respecting him and helping him out. But like, Oriol is she's the oldest daughter. She's notably the more evil of the two daughters. She tempts men into ruin. She tempts women into ruin because, like, why choose? Mostly men, but some women like women. Let them equal rights, equal fights. And her voice is said to be so beautiful that it's hard to ignore. She could command even animals. So Oriol, Snake Lady, stays in the forest. That's her area. The forest, the mountains. And then there's the younger daughter called Magindara. Oh shit, that's me! So like, he's Aswang's younger daughter. Also has the upper body of a woman, lower body of a snake. But unlike Oriol, who was like seducing men into their ruin, Magindra's like, oh, you're hurt, let me help you. Oh, you need this thing, let me help you. Oh, you're crying, why are you crying? Let me help you. And this pissed off Aswang so much. Because like, we're evil, I'm the god of evil, why are you being good? Look at your sister, look at your older sister. She's being so mean to the humans. Be more like her. But he's like, nah, I don't want to be mean. So Aswang ends up exiling her into the sea, in which she allegedly drowned because she's the snake. She's a land creature, allegedly. And then from the place where she allegedly drowned, that's when man-eating mermaids spawned, and that's where we have a common monster also named Magindara. These common merm monsters, they will not harm children, but they will eat men. But if you're nice to them, they will not eat you. Just be nice. Just maybe don't shit on the sea people, yeah? Yeah, don't shit on the sea people. The South Koreans learned that the hard way. Damn. I went there. Finally, we have the more popular ancestor worship in the form of the Anito. Yeah, don't get eaten. Don't get eaten. If you see a hot woman emerge from the ocean, just be nice. Just be chill. Just be chill, okay? Just be chill about the hot ocean women. So like the Anito, they're ancestral spirits or spirits of the dead. Because we also have ancestor worship here in the Philippines, and they're usually depicted as wooden carvings. That's usually like how you see them. There'll be shrines and then there'll be a carving in the house, and that's grandpa, that's our protective ancestors, that's the great stone dragon from Mulan. They protect their descendants, they give good fortune, but you also have to respect them, be nice to them, worship them well, don't let them go into ruin, because of that good fortune and all of that protection can quickly turn to shit. You piss them off. Yippee, our gods are so reasonable. I also failed to mention Kanlaon and his son, Kanlaon being the god of destruction and his son being like, Dad, stop that. Stop, get some help, which seems to be a recurring theme in Bicol folklore. We have Gugurang and Aswang going against Kagurangan. And then we have Daga, Adlaw, and Bulan going against Langiton. We have Magindara and Oriol going against Aswang. And then we have Kanlaon and Kanlaon's son going like, Dad, stop that. You're cringe. God of Destruction, stop, okay? I don't know if I have time to talk about Kanlaon. I just forgot to make a slide about him. I'm sure he's one of the story selections here somewhere. Let me take a sippy sip of my coffee and then let's get to stories. This is gonna be a fairly shorter stream. There's not as much gods in this pantheon as there was in the Tagalogs. Because the Tagalogs are biased. I mean, what? Huh? Jayco coffee is real good though. It's mostly milk. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. My bad, that was Chica. People are streaming Marvel Rivals later. Right, story time! Bam. I forgot to copy and paste. Oh! You're seeing me edit the thing in real time. Let's go for the most basic of the tales. Let's go to Wang steals fire from Urang, aka Accidental Prometheus, but he's a little shit. As per usual, I am taking my stories from the Philippine folk literature series compiled and edited by Professor Damiana L. Eugenio. You can find these books in UP Press. I must snooze this ad break. Long ago, when the world was still young and the good and evil gods were not yet enemies, as they are now, they were friends. They were friends? Alright. Each living separately in a mountain. One report even said that they were brothers. Hugurang, the good god, was living inside Mount Mayon, and Aswang, the evil one, inside Mount Malinaw. As gods, they had control of the welfare of the people. But Gugurang was more powerful than Aswang, who was merely a subordinate. Meanwhile, the former was the chief deity of the Bicols. Now, Gugurang had full control over the people who looked up to him for protection and for advancement. Whenever the people disobeyed his orders or wishes, he would cause the pit of the Mayon volcano to rumble terribly. Oh, how dare you disobey me? I'm gonna make the mountain shake. This is our good guy, by the way. This is our good guy. Our good guy is Gugurang. The people in time took this as a sign or a warning, and accordingly mended their foul ways. Oh shit, God's mad, let's stop. Or if their sins were beyond forgiveness, Gugurang would make the volcano erupt to wipe out the sinners. Just go scorched earth. One of you, a bunch of you were bad. Burn it all. Burn it all. Gugurang then became the symbol of the good and who's ready to punish the bad. And when people saw fire flowing out of the crater of Mayon, they would grow afraid. They would offer a sacrifice to him to appease his wrath. The Balyana, or the priestess, would officiate the ceremony. Always when they committed wrong, there would be a loud moaning of the earth. Is moaning really the best word? Alright, there's a loud moaning of the earth. Oh! Sorry, my bad. Followed by an eruption of fire and lava. So that's what happens when you're bad. Gugurang moans, and then shit gets set on fire. Now, Aswang has no fire in his abode inside Mount Malinaw to the north of Albay. He wanted to be as powerful as Gugurang, as powerful as his brother, at least. If the people, oh my god, this book is old, okay? I'm just gonna read it verbatim. If the people aroused his wrath, if he gets mad at the people, he wanted to be able to subdue them with fire or rumbling in Mount Malinaw. He just wants the same powers his brother has, okay? So he asked Gugurang to give him some fire, but Gugurang refused. How dare you ask me for my fire? Gugurang thundered. The earth trembled. Don't you know that when the fire in my seat is carried by hands such as yours, such ugly, ugly hands, the whole world will be set on fire? Loki, my brother, my bad. I keep imagining them as Thor and Loki in my head, okay? But I will be very careful, replied Aswang. Be careful? I myself, with all of my power, cannot handle it. But how can you threaten the people with it? It is not my will that does it. It's someone else's that you or I don't know nor will ever know. So Gugurang here is I'm not that much in control, which worries me. Maybe I'm just an Aswang, apologist, but really worrying to have your god of goodness be I'm not completely in control of how and when I punish people. I just can. I'm vaguely aware of it. That's concerning. Anyway, Aswang answers, but the rainy days are coming, and I need fire to make me warm in Mount Malinaw. Why, answered Gugurang, you have lived there for many years, and this is the first time that you've ever asked me for it. What will you use the fire for? Look at your people. They can live without it. Humans don't need fire, says Gugurang. Well, it's time for you to give them fire now. Give them fire? Burst Gugurang. The earth shook and the people were more afraid. But soon Gugurang quelled the commotion. Aswang himself was frightened. He never saw him that way before. They are not fit to have it yet. They must make themselves worthy. Well, brother, am I not worthy? You're a lazy god. Look at your ragged mountain and compare it to Mayon, which is the most beautiful mountain in the world. Once again, Mayon, very conical shape. Mount Malinaw is also a beautiful mountain. It's just, it just doesn't have the perfect. It just doesn't look like an upside down, ice cream cone. Aswang argued with him for a long time, but Gugurang would not budge an inch. Aswang suddenly discovered, which before he had not, that Gugurang was all-powerful. Aswang narrowed his eyes and smiled with sinister import. He decided to oppose him from now on, and this is when they started fighting. Before, they were just brother, please, can I have it? No. But brother, no. And Aswang was before a pretty subordinate god to Gugurang. You want to be the omnipotent power? Aswang cried. But between us two, there's not much difference. Why must I live in a humble place like Mount Malinaw while you sit here gloating over your power unlimited and unchecked? Again, I am an Aswang apologist. This sounds sane. This sounds fine. People can be tempted into crimes. Why not? Stop! The earth shivered as Gugurang stamped his feet on the ground. Aswang only smiled this time. This is the proper way to address very angry people, by the way. If you want to piss them off, just smile. It works. That made Gugurang angry all the more. He struck out, but before his blow could land, Aswang had vanished already. Gugurang was greatly amazed by this. A new power of Aswang in making himself invisible. Then, from a short distance in the room came the voice of the evil one. If I cannot get fire in goodwill, I will be bad. I will steal it. Try, and before you can do that, I will cut your mountain in two. Then let there be war between us, countered Aswang. Thus the good and the evil became enemies from that time on. Motives were many to prove that Aswang was ambitious. It could not be doubted that the power to rule intrigued him. He determined to oppose every move of Gugurang. He became the master hater, Gugurang's number one hater. He gathered around him evil counselors and evil spirits whom he sent to earth to turn people to evil ways. Oh no, evil. After that, there was much immorality, lawlessness, and crime. Gugurang in no time found out that it was Aswang who was causing all of these things. He sent pestilence to the barrios, and for a moment the people turned to the omnipotent for protection. Gugurang asked them for another sacrifice and warned them to follow his commandments strictly or be exterminated by floods or an eruption. Because, that's how you appease scared people. Hey, people, are you scared of my brother and his crimes? Give me more items. Or else I will set you on fire. That's great leadership, Gugurang. Great leadership. A+. Against Aswang himself, Gugurang was powerless to do anything. It seemed that in a twinkle of an eye, Aswang came to possess hidden powers hitherto denied to him. Like, evil gave him powers. Evil gave Aswang powers. He was normally just Gugurang light. He became evil. Suddenly self-discovery. I have powers now. Gugurang particularly guarded his fire, or else his enemy would make good of his threat of stealing it. He assigned his trusted helpers to guard the symbol of his power. He was afraid, besides, that if the fire were to go out of its confines, the world would be consumed in its mighty flames. But in spite of that precaution, Aswang was able to enter and locate the guarded object, with many guiles and wiles bribed his guards with gold. The temptation was too sweet to be denied. Hence, Aswang obtained the possession of Gugurang's fire. Oh, there we go. Putting it inside a coconut shell, that explains why this... Okay, I was right. It's the coconut. The coconut is where he put the fire. Alright, that's why he's holding fire and a coconut on this photo. At first I was like, why? Why is there a coconut? Why? Putting inside the coconut shell, he ran with it. Yeah. Gugurang in his throne suddenly noticed that everything around him turned black, and there were cries in the bowels of the volcano. But outside, the world was on fire. Every barrio that Aswang passed caught fire. So the people were set on fire. See, the way people got fire in this story, because before they didn't have fire, was because Aswang ran with fire. Some of the fire spilled. The people just took it. Oh, this is harming us, but it's also slightly helpful. We're gonna get it. It was not out of the goodness of Gugurang's heart. It was not out of the goodness of Aswang's heart. Fire fell. The gods had a fight. Fire fell. People had fire. Aswang! Gugurang cried, and with this he flew into the air pursuing the thief. While terror reigned among the people who were powerless against the flames, Gugurang and Aswang raced for supremacy. Gugurang must get the fire back, or else he would be left without any power at all. All the air around grew hot, but they still went madly on. Aswang was nearing his seat, and if he could get to Mount Malinaw before Gugurang, all would be lost, for the good god would then be under the spell of the devil. Aswang braced up for the last stride, and just as he was about to descend Mount Malinaw, Gugurang caught up with him, snatched the fire in the coconut shell, and vanished with it. Aswang was greatly surprised. He could not make himself invisible, try as he would. He was invisible 1 page ago, but okay. Gugurang, on reaching Mount Mayon, returned the fire to its place, and everything was bright again. Now, before doing anything else, he set about to stopping the flames. He bade the heavens to rain continuously, and there was rain, and the big fire was under control. The people at once offered atang, or the sacrifice, because they were convinced it was Gugurang who had caused the fire because of their wickedness. The people were just like, oh, he's setting us on fire because we are bad. They did not know they were on fire because Aswang ran with it. But you know what? That's fine. Gugurang's got more worshippers out of this. And Gugurang punished his guards, the ones that gave Aswang access to fire, by chaining them to the precipices. Then, for his revenge on Aswang, he ordered lightning, or linti, and thunder, the lugdog. to strike hard against Mount Malinaw that was defying him. Aswang attempted to bribe Linti and Dalugdog. What is the use of your serving a master when you don't even receive any reward? Aswang asked. Why don't you join me? Here you can have what you want. You can be your own masters. Linti, quite taken aback, asked, You mean what you said? Sure, the wily Aswang answered. It is true that we're driven like slaves, said Thunder or Dalugdog. At this, Gugurang sent his thunderbolt. Boom! Crash! For several minutes, the world sank and bobbed and sank again. All the mountains creaked, and a mighty crashing was made amid the din. Gugurang was then ordered the lightning and the thunder to stop, and all was over in a few minutes. The people noticed that what was once Mount Malinaw was but half now. They thanked the Omnipotent for destroying the abode of the devil. To this day, one who sails the Tobacco Bay will still see Mount Malinaw seems to have been cut while Mayon stands majestically unimpaired. Or Mount Malinaw is just shaped like... Listen, let me just Google Mount Malinaw. I swear to God, it just looks like a normal mountain. It's not that disfigured, guys. It's just not Mayon. That's the problem. It's just not him. See, it's a normal mountain range, okay? It's fine. It doesn't look bad. Mayon is overhyped. I might be an Aswang apologist. I'm an Aswang apologist. Anyway. It's pretty, right? It's pretty. It's just not the perfect cone shape that Mayon has. The people for a time believed that Aswang was killed, but later his influence was still doing havoc with the populace. Incidentally, the people got fire, for the enterprising few kept some of the embers to keep themselves warm during the rain that followed the flames. And that is... Aswang steals fire from Gugurang. Hold on, there's a brief tale. Okay, there's a story after this in the book about the mountains themselves fighting. I want to read this. Hold on, let's go to this. This has nothing to do with the gods and everything to do with Mount Malinaw and Mount Mayon fighting. The quarrel of the volcanoes. Yuppie. Okay, so very long time ago, when there were very few people on the face of the earth, many weird things tend to happen. That's because the people were, back then, they were idiots. They were very ignorant. The book says they were very ignorant. They were idiots. Mayon volcano was only then a mountain with no fire or no smoke. She was not as beautiful as she is now, nor was she as rich in vegetation. In fact, she got what she wanted mostly from borrowing from her neighbors as the Malinaw volcano and the Isarog mountain. Both are like mountain ranges in Bicol. The Malinaw volcano, for back then she was a volcano, being nearer to Mayon, was the one mostly annoyed by the latter for her wants. In all, Malinaw volcano was complacent and aided Mayon in all her needs. Though at times she felt like throwing her out of the window, sisters like, oh, why must I always help the younger one? I mean, I'll do it, I'm the older sister, but But as by nature, she was very hospitable. Malinaw tried to do her best for the former Mayon. Mayon, however, took advantage of this and abused the good character of Malinaw and went to the extent of even taking what she wanted. One day, Mayon unexpectedly received some visitors, and as it was already dinner time, she had to prepare food for them, but unfortunately, there was no more fire in the oven. In haste, she went to her neighbor Malinaw and asked for some fire to heat her oven. When she arrived, Malinaw had already eaten and all the fire in the oven was extinguished. However, she could give Mayon some, for she had eternal fire in her crater. Malinaw, tired of her fastidious neighbor, refused and thus incurred the hatred of Mayon, who was more impulsive and irascible. What does that word mean? This book was written a long time ago. I need to Google some words. What does irascible mean? Having or showing a tendency to be easily angered. Okay, so Mount Mayon, very hot headed and very impulsive. Her sister would not lend her fire despite her needing fire to feed her guests, to cook her guests. At the time, Malina was weaving a piece of cloth, and beside her lay a big bolo, a big knife, because that's just what we do when we weave. We just have a big blade next to us, because why not? Mayon insisted in asking for help. Malinaw, however, was tired and would not yield to her pleadings even an inch. Mayon, thinking of her visitors and the advancing time, made a desperate effort to get the fire without Malinaw's consent. But Malinaw was successful in taking the fire back. In desperation, Mayon grabbed her bolo and, closing her eyes, struck with all her might at Malinaw, and moments later, on opening her eyes, saw to her fright that she had beheaded Malinaw. What the fuck? This is not a valid crash out, Mount Mayon. You just beheaded your sister. Mayon hurried home with the fire and supplied her visitors' needs. She did not return the fire, for Malinaw was dead. What the fuck did I just read? Right, okay. To this day, Mayon sends forth fire from her crater, while the Malinaw volcano is now only a mountain without any smoke coming out of its crater. To this day, too, the conical crater of Malinaw can be seen at her foot, where it fell when Mayon cut it off. Okay, so this makes sense, right? So, according to this tale, Malinaw was also once a very conical shaped mountain, and then in both the quarrel of volcanoes and Aswang steals fire from Gugurang, something happens and that perfect shape gets chopped off. In the former story, because Aswang was evil and Gugurang was like, I'm gonna smite you. In the later story, it's because Mayon got really, really mad and crashed out and accidentally chopped off Malinaw's head. Good shit. Good. Great story. I'm glad I didn't skip it. Okay, I think I still have one, two, three. I have four stories left. This is gonna be a shorter stream than the last one. Let's go for the creation of the world according to the Bicol people. We're gonna leave Aswang and Gugurang and their good versus evil fight, and we're gonna go to this pantheon. We're gonna go to Langiton, Tubigan, Dagat, Paros, Daga, Adlaw, Bulan, and Bituon. I guess we can talk about. If we have time, I can go talk about Bakunawa, or why not? Because Bakunawa is also pretty popular in the Bicol pantheon. It's just the Bakunawa itself is not a god. Like, in a typical sense, the Bakunawa is a huge ass. Just a huge ass creature. Right. Let me just drink more coffee. The creation of the world according to the Bicol people. Ang salita ng Diyos. Malangit naman. Thousands and thousands of years ago, there was a time when the space occupied by the universe was vacant. The moon, the sun, the stars, and the earth were absent. Only the vast expanse of water and the sky could be seen. The kingdom of the sky was under the rule of the great god Langit or Langiton. We'll just call him Langit from now on, just to follow the book. While the water was under the sovereignty of the god Tubigan. Langit had a daughter called Dagat, the sea, who became the wife of Paros, the wind, who in turn was the son of Tubigan. 4 children were born to Dagat and Paros, 3 of whom were boys called Daga, Adlaw, and Bulan, and 1 girl named Bituon. Daga, a strong man, possessed the body of a rock. Adlaw, a jolly fellow, had a body made of gold. Bulan, who was made of copper, was kinda weak. Shiny but and pretty, but kinda weak. While the beautiful Bituon was made of pure silver. After the death of the father of Paros, Daga, being the eldest son, succeeded in control of the winds. Soon after, Dagat, the mother, died, leaving her children under the care of the grandparents Langit and Tubigan. Hold up. The two grandpas are taking care of. Yiki. Anyway, after assuming control of the winds, Daga became arrogant and ambitious, desiring to gain more power. He included his younger brothers to induced his younger brothers to attack the kingdom of Langit. At first, they refused, but at Daga's anger, Bulan and Adlaw were constrained to join Daga in his plot. Preparations were made, and when everything was ready, they set out on their expedition and began to attack the gates of the sky. Failing to open the gates, Daga let loose all of the winds at all directions so that the gate was destroyed and the brothers succeeded in gaining entrance. But they were met by the enraged god Langit, who sent out 3 bolts of lightning after them. All of them were struck by lightning. The copper body of Bulan melted into a ball, so also with the golden body of Adlaw. Oh shit, his name is Aldao. I've been mispronouncing it all this time because Adlaw is Bisaya for son. Apparently it's Aldao. It's too late for me to change it now. So just know it's spelled Aldao. My mind is autocorrecting it to Adlaw. Meanwhile, the gas body, which was very, very heavy and made of rock, fell into the sea and became what is now the earth. Her sister, Bituon, on discovering the absence of her brothers, went out to find them. But upon meeting with the enraged god Langit, Bituon was also struck by another bolt of lightning which broke her body into many pieces. Then Langit descended from the sky and called Tubigan and accused him of helping their grandsons in attacking his kingdom. But Tubigan defended himself, saying that he had no knowledge about the attack, for he was asleep far down in the sea. Okay, Tubigan's kind of sus. Now, alright. Tubigan succeeded in pacifying Langit, and the two regretted and wept over the loss of their grandchildren. Since they could not revive them, they gave to each body a light. The body of Bulan became the moon, Aldao became the sun, and the beautiful Bituon became the stars in heaven. But to Daga they did not give any light, and his body gave rise to the land on earth. Tubigan then planted a seed which grew up into a bamboo tree. From one of its branches, this is a similarity with the Tagalog myth, man and woman came from bamboo. From one of its branches came a man and a woman, who became the first parents of the human race. Okay, hold on. We're at this part of the creation myth where I need to check. I need to do a racism check. Hold on, okay. Let me just read this super quick. Okay, I can fix this. Okay, 3 children were born to the first humans. One of them was called Maisog, or like brave. Isog invented a fish trap. One day he caught such a very big and grotesque looking whale that he thought it was a god, so he ordered the other people to worship it. The people gathered around it and began to pray in a very Moses and the golden calf kind of way. But no sooner had they begun when the gods from the sky appeared and commanded Maisog to throw the whale into the water and worship no one but the gods. But Maisog was not afraid and defied the gods. This is a recurring theme in Bicol folklore. Fuck you, Dad. You don't tell me what to do. Langit, the king of the sky, struck Maisog with lightning and stunned him. Then he scattered the people all over the earth as punishment. And that's why the earth became populated. And they went everywhere. And we're not going to discuss the reasons why there are black people, white people, brown people, and yellow people. Just know that it exists in like 4 sentences after the last one I read out. It's weird and it's vaguely racist, and it's not like the world it says that, oh, this kind of people is bad and that kind of people is bad, but it's just very weird that we needed to discuss why there are different skin colors. Um there are people with yellow skin because of food scarcity and they ate clay. It's weird, okay? It's weird. It's weird. And anyway, that's how the earth ended up with people, and that's how we ended up with the earth, and that's just a common recurring theme when you look at creation myths in the Philippines. You have to do a funny racism check. Racism check. Okay, let's go to another smaller god. Let's go to Oriol. Let's go to my favorite hot snake lady. I haven't been possessed enough to actually read the Ibalon because that is a huge ass epic. But I do have a book. I do have a book on epics that I might get started on once I ran out of like pantheons. The goal is get through the pantheons and then we start going through the heroes. I could be doing monster content, but there's a lot of people already doing monster content, so let's do some other things. Let's do some fun things. Let's go talk about Oriol. This is gonna be a short story. It has nothing to do with the gods and everything to do with the hot snake lady fighting people. A hot snake lady just being a little shit. Also, in this story, we're using a different name for Oriol. In this story, she is called Irago. So, the snake enchantress. There was once a fabulous snake in Tiwi Albay who has the reputation to have lured many men to their destruction. When she wanted a victim, she would change herself into a beautiful woman. She was the daughter of the evil god Aswang, and her name was Irago or Oriol. Her abode, people believed, was under the Tiwi hot springs. During moonlit nights, she would be seen by passersby sporting among the boiling waters. Those who have seen her without falling for her charms could attest to the fact that at that time, Irago was very captivating, and would add that if they did not flee, they themselves would have been bewitched to death. Her powers were reported by men whose companions perished under her enchantment. The people would not, of course, believe such an incredible tale that we just saw a hot woman and then we walked into the hot springs and then we kind of boiled to our deaths. That's what she did. It's like, I'm so sexy. Come here. Come here. Walk through these boiling waters to get to me. And the men would be like, and then they'd just walk into the boiling hot springs to their death. Worth it, right? Worth it. Someone probably said that when they got to Irago. Of course, they believed in Aswang, but not any connection between Irago and him. It was said that she would catch her victims and deliver their souls to her father. See, she's the favorite daughter. She's like, Dad, I got you more human souls. Meanwhile, Magindara, the younger sister's just like, no, Dad. No, we don't eat humans anymore, Dad. That's cringe. Her mode of enchanting men was very simple. She was just very, very fucking hot. Okay? Or in the words of the book, she would simply make herself very irresistible until the singled out man became so mad that he had no alternative but to jump after her. And consequently, as he plunged into the hot waters, he got boiled before any help could arrive. That's her superpower. She's just very sexy. But it was even said that the victim would rather die than be saved. Leave me be, this is how I want to die. Understandable. As the man died, Irago would change herself back to the form of a snake and take his soul out of his body to deliver to her father. Then, when she was ready to take the next man, she would change herself again into a beautiful woman. This went on for some time, and the headmen of the town interfered The men, especially the young men, were growing fewer and fewer. They discussed ways of getting rid of the enchantress, and subsequently they issued notices that nobody should go to the hot springs under pain of punishment. But in spite of this, the death toll continued to mount. I mean, there's a hot woman. Okay, and boy, maybe the men were like, I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to go there. All right, bro, bet. I'm gonna go there, and then they died. That just seems like a thing that people do. Then they prayed to Gugurang, the good god, to deliver them from the scourge, and Gugurang told them to make a sacrifice to him, and then after that, an exorcism against Aswang. So the ballenas, the priestesses, were summoned to make preparations. A shelter of palms known as the Gulang-Gulangan then, or it's now called Pala-Pala, and I have no idea what these palms are, was built, and this served as his temple. What they had sacrificed was not exactly known, and that's suspicious, isn't it? I'm gonna say it's human sacrifice, but I could be very, very wrong. It could just be like the very boring, like rice wine and chicken, as with a lot of sacrifices. But it was the best that they could offer to their highest deity. Oh, if it's the best, then it's a human sacrifice. I am just speculating wildly. I just want it to be human, okay? I could be wrong. After that, in another place, they performed an exorcism again by using betel nut leaves. All finished, they expected that the power of Irago was totally annihilated. But even then, they continued to hear again of men lured to the boiling stream. When will they learn? When will they learn to just not go to the hot spring lady? One day, amidst the depressed spirits, arrived a youth, a young man? Question mark. He announced that he had come to battle with the enchantress and to deliver the people from her. Gotta risk it all, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, said one of the guys who went to the hot springs. So this young man, he was too young, and he was asked by the elders not to risk his life. And the young women especially begged for him, for their sake, please, beautiful young man, don't go there, you're so sexy. But he could not be daunted. He was asked what his name was. He answered that it was not for him to reply. I have no name. We have a nameless young man as our hero. On the chosen night, when there was a moon, the young man went to kill Irago. I'm gonna snooze this ad. He was dressed with charmed palm leaves, which was believed to immunize the wearer from injuries. In one of his inner pockets, he carried a magic stone, a round one, which he had obtained in this way. Okay, this is a popular way to get a magic stone in the Philippines. We believe in the power and the magic of stones and crystals. And this is the best way to get one. On the third night, after the full moon, he watched under the blossom of a banana, or puso ng saging, and at 8 o'clock, a stone fell from the puso, from the heart. He picked it up, and a giant appeared to snatch it from him. They fought, and he defeated the giant, and so he got to possess this magic stone, which would protect him from all harm. The stone has the power to make him invincible. He also carried a spear and a sword called the Minasbad. Thus equipped, he fought with the snake enchantress. 3 days and 3 nights they fought. Because he has the magic stone, the hot spring stone hurt him. Irago tried to enchant him, but she was powerless to use this weapon. I think this young man just isn't into women. Good job. She called for her, she was beginning to fail herself. She called to her father, Aswang. Aswang answered. With an art all his own, he caused the youth's palm clothes to burn. Oh shit, now he's fighting naked. Alright, thanks, Dad. I don't know what what that did, but thanks. What did the palm leaves do again? It immunizes the wearer from injuries. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's bad. It's bad that he's naked now. For a while, the youth writhed in agony. The snake bit him, but because of the stone he was carrying, she could not cause any wound. They fought until the seventh day. On the seventh day, the young man succeeded in finding an opening in the scales of the wily snake, and his sword cut a big wound. She lay moaning and breathing fire. She again called to her father, who readily responded. Aswang sent a spirit to snatch the stone from the youth. Invisible to him, the evil spirit stole the magic stone, which, when he felt gone, his courage began to fail him. Seeing this advantage, Hirago, lying on her deathbed, rallied and succeeded in sending the youth sprawling into the hot water. The onlookers rushed to save him, but it was too late. But just as he died, Hirago died too. The delivered people were sorrowful to see their hero die. They took the body of the young man and buried it with proper ceremonies amidst the lamentation of the whole people. And this is how a Gatewink defeated the snake goddess. It's like, you can't seduce me. I'm not into women. Is probably not how it happened, but in my mind, I choose this version. Can't defeat me. I'm not attracted to you. And your big tits. I'm glad that, like, see, Aswang's just like, oh, my daughter is in trouble. Daughter, I'm gonna help you. I got you share, but it was too late. She still died. Okay, last two stories we can talk about Magnindan or Magindan. Magnindan, how do I spell it again? Magindang, Magindang or Magnindan. We're gonna call him Magnindan, the god of fishermen. We can talk about another mountain story. We can talk about Kanlaon, the god of destruction. I forgot. Oh, this is the wrong slide. Kanlaon, the god of destruction, who I forgot to make a slide for. Does get his own story, so, you know. Also, Kanlaon is the name of a mountain. Kanlaon. See, it's another mountain. Mount Kanlaon. And her mountains are really pretty. Maybe it's just because I'm looking at like Google, and Google shows me the best shit. Like that. Also, Mount Kanlaon, an active volcano. It is, right? Kanlaon, an active volcano. It's also not in Bicol. Mount Kanlaon is in Visayas. But Kanlaon, the god of destruction, is a Bicol folktale. It's fine. Might be similarly named people, who knows? Let me just check. Hold up. Okay, so let's talk about a tale from the Bantayan people who live near Mount Mayon, who the book describes as simple-minded folk and farmers, which feels very, very unfair, a very unfair generalization, but this book is old. So in this place, the inhabitants have a tale that they were never failed to tell chance visitors who happen to have an opportunity to visit the place. This tale, which the people have so long known and handed down from generation to generation since the ancient times, is about... Oh, it's not Kanlaon, it's Kalaon. Okay, there we go. There's my confusion. Kalaon, the god of destruction. Kala. Kala is fire. Okay. I get it now. We're not talking about Mount Kanlaon. We're talking about Kalaon. My brain autocorrect. So Kalaon, the god of destruction. Kalaon was a superhuman being who lived in the bowels of the earth beneath the base of Mount Mayon. He was said to be the god of destruction, who brought lightning and rain. Every year, the people of Bantayan hold a feast in honor of this god. This is accompanied by prayers that are said by the people to the great god Bathala for the peace of the souls that were sacrificed. But what do you mean there were souls sacrificed? All right. Thanks for the soul sacrifice, drum scare. Then a week of feasting and ceremony follows. The people indulge in all sorts of merriment, dancing, drinking, and the like. If they failed to do this, destruction would surely come to them. A generation passed and the simple minded people inhabited the place. The people lived in prosperity and happiness. The farmers' crops were growing well and fine, and they had forgotten to observe the sacrifice for the god Kalaon. At this time, Kalaon had already had a son who was not as cruel as he was, for the great god Bathala had sown in his heart the seeds of kindness and pity. So we're once again in the Bicol folklore theme of the son is not gonna like his dad very much. Kalaon remembered that the people of Bantayan had forgotten to sacrifice, so he called his son and commanded him to bring forth destruction to Bantayan. He said, "Go ye, my son, and punish the people of Bantayan. They have forgotten me because they are living in prosperity." His son refused to go. Kalaon could not bear to see that he was not obeyed by his own son. He roared and roared. The earth quaked vigorously. Streams of burning stones and lava began to flow down from the crater of Mount Mayon. Still not content with this, he rose from his abode and took his sword and stood at the top of Mount Mayon. There was panic and pain in the place. But just as Kalaon was about to wage further destruction, the great god Bathala smothered him with lightning and transformed him into a cloud and told him, "Because you have abused your power, you shall remain as a cloud forever, and henceforth will bring lightning and rain to the people of Bantayan." Whenever it begins to rain and there is lightning on Bantayan, the people will always say, "It is Kalaon again, bringing destruction upon us." And that's so the only role of Kalaon's son here is like going, "No, dad, we don't destroy people anymore for not obeying us. That's cringe." And so that is the tale of Kalaon, the god of destruction. He became a cloud. Let me just add him to the list so that when I do this again, I won't forget him. Kalaon, god of destruction, became a cloud. There we go. I have appended my slideshow. Hold on, let me see if I can find the Bakunawa story. Although, because the Bakunawa is also like very much related to Bicol folklore. It's also related to the goddess, alleged goddess Halia, who's a moon goddess. But some would also say Halia is not a goddess, Halia is a festivity. I believe what you want to believe, okay? I'm sure there's a tale about the Bakunawa here. Devil, Legends of Duende. Forgot which part of the book that. Oh, mermaid legends. Not a mermaid, it's not a ghost. Remove. Tatiana. I mean, I could tell the tales of the Bakunawa by heart, but books though, books. They're fun. Not an Aswang tale. Is it an Encanto tale? It's not an Encanto tale. Alright, you know what? I know this tale by heart. Let's go for the tale of Bakunawa. Okay, so I'm gonna tell this verbatim as how I remember it, as our ancestors would. So once upon a time, in the very, very old Philippines, there were 7 moons in the sky, and night was as bright as day, but not as hot. So people could take naps comfortably, people could do business, people could stay awake, or they can chill and rest. Anyway, it's just there were two phases of the day, okay? There's very, very hot, the sun is out day, and then there's fairly chill, it's still bright night. And the people were happy. No crimes, or very little crimes were happening because there was always brightness in the sky. And so everything was good. But then the great sea creature, the great sea serpent called the Bakunawa, rose from its long, long slumber. And it was hungry. It was very, very hungry. It saw the 7 moons in the sky, and it decided, hey, there's 7 up there. I'm really hungry. I'm gonna eat one of them. So he ate one of the moons. And most people didn't notice it. Maybe the priests noticed it. It's like, oh, it's slightly darker. There is a disturbance in the force. But most people are like, it's just one moon. It's still fairly bright. It's just slightly less bright. We'll be okay. We don't know what happened. It's probably not gonna happen again. Bakunawa ate the moon, went back to sleep. It woke up again, and it was just as hungry. 6 moons in the sky. Rose up, ate another one, went back down to the sea. Now there are only 5 moons. The people were getting slightly restless. You know, some of the people were like, hey, some of the streets are like kind of dark now. Some of the people have turned to crime. It's weird. Maybe we should do something about this. But then again, you know, no rush. We still have 5 moons. The dimness is a little chill. Maybe we'll be okay. So nothing happened. 5 moons in the sky. Bakunawa rose up next day, next night, still hungry. Bam, 4 moons in the sky. People were getting increasingly agitated. Bakunawa went back to sleep, woke up the next time, still hungry. Bam, 3 moons in the sky. Now people were getting worried. There were kings, there were the leaders, they were like, maybe we should do something about this. Maybe we should send our warriors to fight this dragon thing that's eating our moons. But like, maybe it's fine. And the people were like, hey, crime's getting a little higher, it's getting a little darker. Some guys have gotten really into like criminal activity. There's still 3 moons. And anytime there was an attempt to fight the Bakunawa, I mean, it's a huge ass dragon. And mortal men are mortal men. Mortal men died. And humanity was just like, shit, it's so bleak. Let's not send our warriors to die anymore. This is hopeless. Whatever. Bakunawa went back down, got hungry, went up to the sky, ate the 2nd moon. Now there's only 1 moon left. And in some tales, this moon is called Halia. Or like, in some tales, all of those 7 moons had their own goddesses, their own protectors. And the last one left is the moon goddess known as Halia. And in some tales, the moon is just a moon and there's no goddess in it. But yeah. So there's only 1 moon left. And the people got scared. Right? Because it's now very, very dark at night. I mean, there's still light. But the moon has phases, and that light is not always as bright as like a full moon. It waxes and wanes. It's the moon. People got scared. They didn't know what to do. The kings didn't know what to order. All of the ceremonies of the priests and priestesses were failing them. There's only one moon left in the sky. The Bakunawa woke up, and the Bakunawa was very, very hungry. The Bakunawa rose up into the sky, opened its mouth, put the moon in its mouth, and then someone screamed. Someone in the human side, it screamed. People started, that scream led to more people screaming, led to people banging their pots, people making a great noise. They were panicking. And they found out the Bakunawa's weakness. It's very, very fucking sensitive to sound. It doesn't like it when people are screaming. It doesn't like it when people are banging gongs. It doesn't like it when people are making a lot of noise. And so the people banded together and they just made a fuck ton of noise. They just essentially went, Bakunawa, stop swiping. They just all yelled at the Bakunawa to stop. Bakunawa was so annoyed at this that the Bakunawa let go of the moon and went back into the sea, where it rested for a long, long, long time. And the people rejoiced, and the people had a festival that lasted for 7 days and 7 nights, which is called the Halia Festival, which may or may not also be the name of the goddess of the last moon. But yeah, so the Bakunawa rested and the people were happy, and that's how we ended up with only 1 moon instead of 7. But hey, we kept one, and that's our victory. Now, every once in a while, the Bakunawa would rise up from the sea and it will once again try to swallow the moon. And when that happens, the people make a lot of noise and the Bakunawa goes back to the sea. When the Bakunawa tries to swallow the moon temporarily, that's what we call a lunar eclipse. This is a tale of how lunar eclipses happen. And at some point, I would like to yap about it extensively, but the Bakunawa is not the only creature in Philippine folklore that we collectively call the celestial eaters. There are, in different regions of the Philippines, similar tales about giant creatures rising up to the sky and trying to eat either the moon or the sun. And the ending is always an eclipse happened, people got mad, they made a lot of noise, and this giant creature went back to where they came from. There's the god Raho, who's said to be a giant, and he fought I think he fought the sun. Raho's an interesting character, by the way. Maybe I will do a stream on celestial eaters next time. There's Raho, there's the Minokawa from the Mindanao region. He is a giant bird made of metal and he tried to eat the sun. There is this giant crab who hates his mom, and his mom just happens to be the moon, and he tries to snatch the moon from the sky because fuck you, mom. That's also a version of like the eclipse tale. And then there's also like further down south where there's a crossover of folk tales between like the Philippines, Indonesia, and Malaysia. We have the Arimaonga. It is a giant tiger. I want to say tiger, lion, giant feral cat thing that also tried to eat the moon. That is a separate subclass of Philippine monsters that I would like to like dive into eventually. But for now, let's stick to the Bakunawa. I tried to eat the moon because why the fuck not? And we're on to our last story. Or what was it? I believe it is wrong book. I also have like a pet peeve. Speaking of the Bakunawa, I just want to rant about this. Let me see if I can have a photo of it. Let me just close this overlay for a while. Okay, let me just go for... I have this pet peeve. I bought a tarot card, a tarot deck, and this tarot deck is called Tarot of the Divine by Yoshitani, and they made the tale of the Bakunawa, allegedly the tale of the Bakunawa, the Page of Cups, which is, it's about being a young man that's being open to their emotions, whatever, whatever, whatever. And they said, oh, this is the tale of the Bakunawa. When you read the booklet, it's like, this is about the Bakunawa. And I'm looking at this like, where? Where the fuck is the dragon? Why is there a rabbit? Why is there a rabbit? Rabbits are not indigenous to the Philippines. Why is there a rabbit on the card? Why is there a young man on the card? If this is supposed to be the tale of the Bakunawa, where the fuck is the titular dragon? So I ranted about this on Blue Sky, and it got to the artist. Listen, I bought this tarot deck because it's about different folklores and different religions, different fairy tales is the theme of this deck, and the art is pretty, and it's also only 888 pesos, which is very cheap for a tarot card deck. But oh lord, the lack of research that went to this card was insane. So the reason for there being a rabbit is they were like, this is where once again Bulan being like a gay god gets talked about, because she was like, the artist was like, oh, one of your gods, one of the gods of the moon, Bulan, is gay, and there's this god of homosexuality in Chinese folklore. So I wanted to meld the two folklores together, because you have 7 gods in this moon gods, right? I'm like, what do you mean the Philippines has 7 moon gods? We have more than 7, and that's because we have more than 7 religions. The tale of the Bakunawa did not. Anyway, this is my anti-rant to like, just don't buy this tarot card deck, because the research that went to it was, the art is pretty. I will not discount the fact that the artist, very talented. It's just the research is bad. Apparently this was not the only, because Filipinos being Filipinos, we saw this card. It's like, oh, we're being represented. Oh, that's so good. That's so nice. And then you read the tale and you're like, wait a minute. What the fuck? But yeah, so this was a poorly researched card. If you're gonna talk about the tale of the Bakunawa, then, add the fucking Bakunawa. If you wanna talk about the 7 moons in Bicol folklore, then go ahead and talk about the 7 moons in Bicol folklore. But Bicol is just one region in the Philippines. The Bicol is not all of Philippines. Not all of the Philippines believe in there having been 7 gods in the sky. That's why I'm talking about the different pantheons based on which region they're from, because we don't all believe in the same gods. We are 7,100 islands divided by a fuck ton of mountains and a fuck ton of seas and rivers. We all ended up having a lot of like mini cultures and tribes that believed in different things. And apparently, like, I'm gonna go back. I have this long rant about this tarot card. Okay, let me have it. The Filipinos were not the only people who have issues with this card, because with this deck, because their card for the devil was this. Let me see if I remember it right. It was Brazil. So what they used for the devil is the boitata. It's a Brazilian fire serpent. And they use the boitata as their image for the devil. And because it looks super menacing, right? It's a snake made out of fire. So they were like, okay, this snake made out of fire, that's gonna be our card for the devil now, because the devil is bad, and the devil is in Western religions, Roman Catholic religions. That's a bad thing. The snake is Satan, the snake is the devil, the snake is evil. But if you read the folklore of the boitata, he just protects the forest. It's a protector god. And this artist was like, oh no, big snake, we're gonna make that the devil card. I think there was also complaints from like, there was like an African country that complained about how their death god was used by, but I forget which card that was. These were the ones that stuck to my mind, was like the bad use of the Bakunawa and the bad use of the boitata. It's just like, if you're going to create something that represents like the cultures of different regions, then please, for the love of God, research first, draw later. Stop forcing your your research to fit your drawings. It's like, oh, it's my interpretation as an artist. You are fucking around with a lot of cultures that have very specific ways about how things are, Anyway, that's my tarot card rant. Please do not buy The Tarot of Divine by Yoshitani. This was very weird to read. See, the Page of Cups is connected to his emotions. In this card, one of the 7 young moon siblings plays with your shed. First of all, where the fuck did the 7 young moon siblings come from in the in the Bakunawa myth? Second, why is there a rabbit? Why is there a Chinese? This was also a very, very bad look because at the time that I had this deck, I was like, it was like the height of very, very bad Philippines and China foreign relations. It's still bad now. We're contesting some seas, some like territorial water. So, that's your gods are fine. They're having fun. Like, this is hella tone deaf. This is hella tone deaf. I'm like, that was a weird card. Anyway, that's my rant. Let's go for the last story now. I just wanted to rant about that deck, okay? I wasted 888 pesos. I also have a friend like Magic Mire. He does tarot card readings, and there was a time I met her at a convention and she was just giving away cards. Like, take a card and then just like never give it back to me. I'm like, are you sure this is an entire tarot card deck? She was like, yeah. And so I got a card. I got Temperance. I was like, the art is really pretty. So I kept it in my notebook. And then afterwards, I bought Tarot of the Divine. I was like, oh, this is the card deck that Mira was giving away. Why is she giving this away? Reads, researches. Oh, this was poorly researched. And now I'm trying to look for people to take the deck from me. But given how I talk about that deck, I don't think there will be any takers. I think there'll just be, why am I going to take that? You hate that deck. I'm like, sorry. But yeah, if you want a free tarot card deck, that Tarot of the Divine, I'm giving mine away. Alright, last tale, Nahaponan. It's about the fishing god and why you probably shouldn't piss off the fishing god. Okay, so Magnindan was the beloved god of the Bicols, for did he not give them abundance of fish? He was the protector of fishermen, and it was to him that they prayed when there was little catch with either the nets or the lines. This was how their relation became closer and closer. For years, there was no reason for Magnindan and the fishermen to fight, and fish were plentiful. The people were prosperous. Again, let me just point where Bicol is and why it's very important that they have a lot of fishing. That's the region. It's surrounded by a lot of seas. Yeah, you're gonna have to be really, really good to your fishing god if you live here. That's gonna be one of your primary sources of livelihood. But one day, in a peaceful fishing village or barrio of Bakakay, came 2 men who were attracted by the reputed wealth of the inhabitants gained through fishing. The villagers, who could easily notice that there were strangers among them, as they were not used to them, became suspicious and asked for their names. The tall, wily figure, who apparently was the leader of the 2, answered, I am Pasakat, a fisherman of Tabaco, attracted by your lucky shores. This is my helper, Maluya. Luya is weak. Luya is like, it's a kind of sickly kind of weak in Bisaya. And like the Bisaya and the Bicol, they have a lot of similar words. Maluya was a weak-willed youth according to his appearance, but strong as well as agile in muscles. The head of the village conferred whether or not they would admit the 2 fishermen from the neighboring place. A bright-headed old man said, if we permit them to fish and if Magnindan does not like them, he would in time let them know. So they left it for the god to decide. It was agreed that it was a really good idea. So Pasakat and Maluya were allowed to fish in the Bakakay waters. But before leaving for the sea, they were admonished, they were told to not displease the god of the fishes, or else something bad will happen to them. The two did not answer. When they were plowing at sea, Pasakat asked, "What was that god they were talking about not displeasing?" Well, I don't know myself," answered the younger one. "But I know that in the forest where I came from, there was this god called Okot, the god of the chase. Perhaps this god of fishes has also the power to increase or decrease the number of fishes, depending upon his will. It would be much better if we don't offend him," said Maluya again. So we're talking about Okot, god of forest and hunting, Magindang or Magnindan, god of fishing. Let's put Magnindan here so I don't get confused. Magnindan, god of fishing. Oh, there we go. "I don't believe it," said Pasakat, as if boasting. "Oh," the other one was terribly horrified. "Well, don't think of that. I know several people in the forest whom I know turned to stone for disobeying the rules of the gods." "I lived a charmed life. Why should I be afraid?" said Pasakat. And in my mind, this is just Gaston and Lapu. "But I'm afraid," Maluya said. "Why should you be? There's nothing alarming." And with that, discussion came to an end as they felt a nibble in one of their lines. In time, they were assimilated into the barrio. The simple folks marveled at their unusual skill in their catch. Overnight, they became rich. This was then during the Gimata, or the period of time around the new moon phase. This was during the Gimata, or during the new moon phase. And quick aside about fishing, you catch more fish when it's full moon. If it's new moon, it's a little harder to get fish. But when Otong came, or during the quarter phase, there is very little fish to be had. Pasakat and Maluya wondered at this. They asked the villagers, and they learned that they must entreat Magnindan to give them more fish. So there's a ritual to get more fish when times are lean. The villagers themselves put out to sea to make the necessary ceremony to call for more fish. They brought with them stones and shredded small fish that they had caught in the rivers. On reaching the designated spot for the ceremony, they pounded the sides of the kasko that they were riding. Kasko is their boat, and kept pounding throughout the whole sacrifice. The sound was made to call the attention of Magnindan. Then the other members of the party threw the shredded fish, and still the others threw the stones into the sea. After that, they were happy, for fish became abundant again. You could also excuse that there's a science to this. There's a science to this. They are disturbing. They are pretty much throwing chum in the water, and that attracts the fish. But hey, that's also a sacrifice to the gods. The ceremony, however, had one limitation. That is, it could be performed at any time of the day except during twilight. So if it's after sunset, it's nearing sunset, don't do this anymore. It won't do shit. For the people said that Magnindan was sleeping then and hated to be awakened by their prayers. This the people obeyed without any complaint, and they learned to conform to that. Okay, so these are the rules of our ritual. You can perform this ritual any time of the day. You can chum the waters any time of the day, except after sunset. Once sunset starts, once twilight starts, no more chumming the waters. No more. That stops there. You're gonna piss off the god, and maybe it's not as effective with the fishes that go at night. So the two strangers used this sacrifice to their advantage. They now commanded the local market, and they had already raised the price of fish. They are gentrifying this fucking village. This the people resented, and soon the presence of these two strangers became very obnoxious. Time passed on. The Gimata, or the time of the new moon, was coming again, and then the Otong, when it's gonna be very, very hard to catch fish. And the village did not cry for fish, for they were afraid that if they go out fishing, it's only gonna be snatched by these two strangers. They're just gonna prosper from their hard work. Pasakat and Maluya, however, set about to make an offering to the fish god. They started in the morning, and it continued till noon and afternoon. They were mad with delight, for they had not more fish than desired, which they could sell to the villagers at high prices. Did I just say villagers? Anyway, they sell to the villagers for a high price. So with madness, they continued the sacrifice until twilight, and they kept begging the god to give them more fish. Magnindan, or being awakened by the noise above him, because it's Magnindan's sleeping hours, okay, it's twilight. He became very angry and summoned an attendant to see what was making all of that noise. The helper went out, returned, and reported who it was. Is this my reward? I have given them more fish than the villagers. Ungrateful! Magnindan swore to punish them. He ordered all of the fishes of the sea to retire to their caverns. Pasakat swore, seeing the fish was not coming. This made the fish god more angry, so he caused a storm. Maluya cried, "Sir, the god is angry!" "You weak-hearted fool! What god?" scorned Pasakat, who was very much facing a very angry god. The storm grew and the waves swelled. The two fishermen decided to sail back home. But when they tried to lift their anchor, it would not move an inch from the bottom. All night and morning the next day, they could not break away from there. The people on the shore were glad that the two extortionists were being punished by a just god. Pasakat and Maluya became sick of it all. Towards twilight, they were still chained there. They have been in the water for it's gonna be a full 24 hours. Then, just as the sun set that day, there was a huge flash of lightning followed by thunder. After this, the air became calm and the moon rose. The villagers looked out to find out what happened to the two men. They saw them bending on their kasko and looking down. They didn't mind them. But days passed, and the two did not leave the place, and they became curious. So it's been days. You're looking out in the water. There's a boat and two men who haven't moved an inch. And they put out to sea to find what happened. To their great horror, they discovered that the two men had been turned to black stones, and they were standing on coral beds before where there was none. The living men looked at each other knowingly. To this day, these figures, now unrecognizable as human forms, can still be seen near Bakakay. The place is called Nahapunan because it was there that the afternoon, hapon, ended in twilight. So it's called Nahapunan because you fucking died during twilight. And that's our stories for Philippine folklore, the Bicol gods. Do not piss off the fish god. Do not piss off the... Okay, you can actually piss off the snake god. You can piss off the destruction god by telling him no. In the Snake Enchanters, we learned that Aswang, he likes his daughter. He's like, "Oh, Dad, help me." He's like, "Okay, I'm there. I got you, share. I got you, share." He still died. In the creation of the world, we found out that the heavenly figures kind of tried to rebel against the heavens, and they failed. In the quarrel of the volcanoes, we found out that one of the mountains kind of chopped off the head of the other mountains. And then Aswang steals fire from Gugurang, we found out that the evil god and the good god were not enemies before, but there was a power imbalance. And so evil went like, weh, I'm gonna be evil. And he's so hot for it. I'm an Aswang apologist that has very little to do with me naming myself after his daughter. Tehe. So, ariga thanks gozai madami. That's the end of this stream. This is our references. We have the Aswang Project just because Aswang Project, it basically collects the info that we got from Philippine folk literature and just made it easier to read. It's a website. It has a group of researchers led by a Canadian dude that married a Filipino. We have once again Philippine folk literature, Myths, the book Myths collection and the Legends collection, collected and edited by Damiana Eugenio. I wasn't able to read it because this book is in full Tagalog. Mga Nilalang na Kagala-Gilalas by Edgar Samar. Edgar Samar is the writer of the young adult book series Janus Silang, which explores a lot of Philippine folklore. There was space, so I wrote it down because Philippine folklore is passed down through oral tradition, rarely written, and because books are expensive, you will find a lot of different versions of different myths on the internet. Please take what you read online with a grain of salt, including this stream, and be respectful of each other's beliefs. And that's it for this stream. I'm gonna go play Star Sand Island next month. Let's explore a different set of gods. Yay! Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you for being really active. I was gonna be sad and cry. So next time I might go for Visayas region or Ifugao region. I'll see what I can get more out of. And I was going to stream tomorrow because it's my stream anniversary. But I also might be tired and might not do that. So I'll see you next time. Maya muli. Paalam. Oh shit! Right, raiding. Let's look for someone to raid first. Let's go find someone to raid. Are there people streaming? Okay, toodles. Oh, not a lot of people streaming right now. So you know what? Let's just end stream. Bye-bye. Thank you for being here. Where's my goodbye screen? Bye-bye.